Okay then guys, what is going on? Cloud Plays here and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we're inside of Starfield where we have got a lot riding on the shoulders of the latest DLC, Shattered Space, which is due to release later on this year. But it could be a logical progression of its own core content. This thing is going to be taking a bit of a move and they're going to be trying their hardest, or at least we think that they're going to be trying their hardest to get a Cyberpunk 2077 attempt inside of this DLC, or at least over the next year or two. I'm hoping that this is something they're planning on doing, but we're going to be taking a look at a load of stuff at Shattered Space Talk and seeing exactly what it is that we have in store for the future of Starfield, Bethesda's latest title. If you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe with post notifications turned on. It'd be greatly appreciated. On top of that, check out our sponsor, Advanced GG, the #1 clinically proven energy supplement on the market. My favourite flavour, cherry vanilla, but you guys can catch an array of flavours via the link in the description. With that being said, let's dive on in to some Starfield news. So, Starfield has become a focal point for intense internet debates, especially surrounding the question of how many hours one should invest in the game before deeming it unsatisfactory. The recent surge in negative Steam reviews has marked maybe the 243rd controversy for Starfield in the past year, indicating an ongoing and unresolved discourse. Now, obviously, putting my personal opinions of the game completely aside, because realistically we all know that I did enjoy it, there are two distinctive observations emerged from the broader conversation. Now, Starfield did not achieve critical success as anticipated by Bethesda and Microsoft. Its scores in the low 80s fell below those of most other mainline Bethesda games, and it received just a single Game Award nomination, ultimately losing. This stands in contrast to Bethesda's previous track record as a frontrunner for the Game of the Year with each new release. And secondly, the public reaction to Starfield has been at best bloody mixed. Reflected into mediocre to low Steam scores, the prevailing sentiment suggests that the games fall short of Bethesda's best and highlights perceived outdated design philosophies. Now, despite having a substantial player base and sustaining a engagement for months, especially noteworthy for a single-player game with no updates and limited mod support, comparisons to the comparable situations arise: the launch of Cyberpunk 2077. Now, similar to Cyberpunk 2077, the initial success followed by challenges, Starfield finds itself in a parallel predicament. While Bethesda and Microsoft emphasize player counts and vast planetary exploration, their prevailing narrative labels Starfield as an overall disappointment, marking Bethesda's second major setback following the launch of Fallout 76. The latter, after years of effort, was eventually transformed into a noteworthy success story. Now, however, the challenges facing Starfield do differ, posing arguably more complex obstacles to overcome. Unlike Cyberpunk's primarily technical issues, Starfield perceived shortcomings lie in areas such as story, characters, and in setting, which are considered harder to rectify, unlike fixing technical glitches, addressing dated character models, fixed view conversations, and the abundance of loading screens presents more intricate challenges. While certain aspects can be improved though, such as introducing compelling new stories, characters, and unique points of interest through the expansions and fundamental aspects of the game, may prove resident in modification. But Bethesda appears to acknowledge the need for improvement, promising updates every 6 weeks and providing a roadmap for 2024. Although concerns do persist about the adequacy of these measures, with the Elder Scrolls 6 in active development, questions arise about the resources available for Starfield's comprehensive quote-unquote repair process, viewed by many players as essential to restoring faith in the studio after consecutive underwhelming launches. Now, Shattered Space DLC could be a logical progression of its core content. With the release of the Shattered Space DLC for its sci-fi RPG, Bethesda has the opportunity to expand on one of Starfield's most unique mechanics, we'll like to call it. Now, although Starfield hasn't yet had some of its sort of impact on the gaming landscape as some of its previous releases, Bethesda's ambitious sci-fi has still won over countless fans with its fresh take on some familiar genre tropes. As work continues on the game's upcoming Shattered Space DLC though, Bethesda has an opportunity to use the add-on to expand the Starfield's core content in an exciting way. By retooling the most interesting and ambitious element of Starfield's unique New Game Plus mode and making it a central element of the Shattered Space DLC, Bethesda could deliver a wildly entertaining spin on an already compelling mechanic. Now, while Starfield's gameplay may have received a lukewarm reception from some, the game's unique take on the familiar New Game Plus formula garnered praise from many players. Rather than returning to the start of the game with all of their items in tow, the end of Starfield's main quest sees players traveling to an entirely different in-game universe and maintaining only the skills that they'd learned along the way. With the release of Starfield Shattered Space DLC, Bethesda should change the multi-dimensional jaunt from the end-game event to one that players can take with the press of a button. Now, when players actually travel through the Unity to another universe at the end of Starfield's campaign, they never know what they'll find waiting for them on the other end. While the changes between each universe can sometimes be subtle, in other cases, Starfield's alternate universe can be drastically and sometimes hilariously different. But Bethesda can and could lean into this mechanic for the Shattered Space DLC by giving players the ability to trigger these multiversal shifts on command without collecting all of the artifacts all over, letting players alter the universe around them, whether though the discovery of the Starborn artifact or some impressive feat on human ingenuity. Players could come to the possession of a device that would let them shift between a planet's dimensional doppelgangers on demand. That would be absolutely insane, and not only could this add some much needed variety to Starfield's sometimes barren planets, but there's already a perfect template for the feature to utilize. Taking place during the back half of the campaign missions, Starfield's Entangled mission itself provides a great example of the type of gameplay a dimensional hopping Shattered Space DLC could include. Now, during the mission, players find themselves hopping back and forth between parallel realities in the same location in order to progress. This mechanic could be explained and expanded on in Shattered Space, giving players the ability to quick jump between different dimensions to change the planet around them. Not only would this allow for some visually impressive set pieces, such as shifting into a dimension where the shimmering aspires, a Starfield city of New Atlantis, replaced by ruins or something like that, but it could further explore some of the game's central themes. With the Unity already having proven to be corrupting force for some, players could face consequences for using its power in this new manner all over. And if some Starborn were already unhappy with players merely having the ability to travel through the Unity, then being able to channel its reality-bending power at will surely draw their ear. By expanding Starfield's multiverse mechanic with the Shattered Space DLC, Bethesda could breathe new life into the game's sometimes stagnant universe. The possibility of being able to reshape the world around them at the press of a button, whether to solve puzzles, quests to be completed, or simply to see what happens, could even prove to be enough to draw some disgruntled gamers to give Starfield yet another go. This is something which could be absolutely ginormous, and given the outdated movement that they've taken with this game, there's definitely room. I think that it would work really well, and I think this is something that Bethesda really need to take in told, and this has been shooting around the internet. This isn't just obviously a first off-topic hand here on the video. We obviously have had these conversations across Twitter and more over the last ongoing, like maybe last week, maybe last month, and it's been crazy to see some of the ideas that we've got. Bethesda would be stupid to not listen to their community. That's all I'm getting at. That's unfortunately all we've got time for today though, guys. If you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up, subscribe, post notifications turned on, and make sure you stay tuned for all Starfield and other gaming news here on the channel. Thanks again for watching, appreciate you all, and I'll see you in the clouds.